All right, top of the hour here, 3:00 p.m. just about from the studios of WIUR in New Rochelle, New York, Iona University. It's Ball Knowers alongside Luke Dolan.
How you doing?
I am Cameron Woolley. So, first, before we get into it, you want to tell me a little bit of news regarding the Pierre Dorian situation coming out of Ottawa.
Pierre Dorian has been relieved of his duties as of right now in Ottawa. He's been the GM
of the Ottawa Senators. Yeah,
he's been GM for 8 years. Has led
only 8. I feel like I've been there for like 20.
I feel like he's been there for 20. It feels like that with most hockey general managers in Canada. But so he's been relieved of his duties, and he's led them through to the conference finals and also through a long rebuild, which has led some criticisms. But they are a team, as he said himself.
Yeah, they're a team.
But it's just shocking that they didn't make the change in the offseason. I just find it weird when teams make GM firings like this early in the season. And why did you keep him on then for the whole offseason? But that's not the big thing that I'm talking about. I wanted to talk about. Apparently, I heard the possible name making the runs as a potential replacement.
This is the news you want to tell me.
Is Peter Chiarelli.
No way.
That's apparently a name that's
Peter
going through.
Chiarelli is making rounds as a potential replacement.
I wonder why Canada hasn't won the Stanley Cup in the last 30 years. Yeah. You wonder why.
Because they hire dopes like that. Imagine begging, like as a fan of the Ottawa Senators, begging to have Pierre Dorian be fired. Just to have Peter Chiarelli.
People have their problems with
that would kill me. That would kill me. Like I would. That would do unspeakable things to me.
I mean, people complain about Dorian enough in Ottawa Senators fandom, but he's not worse. He can't be worse than Peter Chiarelli.
Mr. 1-for-1 Adam Larson for Taylor Hall, by the way. That's at least what he's known for around here.
Yeah, and he's like one of the worst GMs like who has ever been employed.
He traded Tyler Seguin when he was entering his prime.
For Louis Eriksson. The one time it wasn't a 1-for-1 trade.
He traded.
Did he
traded Taylor Hall for Adam Larson to New Jersey, where Taylor Hall would have the most successful stretch of his career. Winning the Hart Trophy
MVP
in 2018, carrying a mummified corpse to the playoffs. So he followed up that offseason. That move cleared up the cap space for him to sign Milan Lucic to a 6-year, I think it was a $42 million contract.
It was
something
not a good
terrible, like something horribly bad.
He is not a suitable replacement. I gotta look this. I'm not sure if I think he made the trade with the Rangers and Oilers as well, where he traded Ryan Strome for Ryan Spooner 1-for-1.
Oh my God, is that true?
Yes, I don't know if he's the one who made that trade specifically.
No, was Ryan Strome on the Islanders first?
He was, but then he was traded to the Oilers for Jordan Eberle.
Oh my God, that's right. Oh, dude, those are horrible.
Oh yes, here we go. In 2018, he traded Ryan Strome to the New York Rangers for Ryan Spooner, who would also get traded later that season to the Canucks. And Ryan Strome would be a very productive member for his time with the New York Rangers, a 3.5-year career with the Rangers.
We're not going to talk about his most famous moment, though, as a Ranger.
Yeah, we're not going to. But in spite of that, he had most of his productive years with the Rangers.
Yeah.
And we got a player for Ryan Spooner, who has not been in the league since the 2018. You take the wins when you can get them.
Yeah, you take those.
But anyways, I just had to tell you that because I knew you would lose your mind over that.
I love Peter Chiarelli. Dude, I love Peter Chiarelli. Dude, he gave my team Taylor Hall, like, basically for free.
He's traded most New York metropolitan area teams pretty well, to say the least, with his trades.
Although I think the most heinous one of those trades was trading Tyler Seguin right before he hit his prime because of he doesn't fit the culture of the team.
It's gonna be
hockey.
It's gonna be real interesting.
Old hockey men are some of the dumbest people ever.
It's gonna be really interesting when Peter Chiarelli and Jim Benning are interviewing for the Viking GM spot.
Oh my god, dude! They are probably gonna look at Jim Benning.
Wait,
is Mark Bergevin still running the show in Montreal?
I think he's out. He's been out. Jeff Gordon's running the show there.
Oh yeah, that's right. So Bergevin's going to interview for that spot.
Probably.
Every single bad GM from a Canadian team of the last 15 years is going to be interviewing for that Senators job.
Yeah, I just don't know why they felt the need to fire Dorian. That's just a bit wild to me.
Because Pierre Dorian is a terrible GM and has been a terrible GM like his whole time there.
I guess, but he's been making progress with some of the team is building.
Well, again, we're talking about a Canadian NHL team. Nothing makes sense.
Again, as my statement before, Canada wonders why the Stanley Cup hasn't been there in the last 30 years.
The American teams, or at least the successful ones, who like all the successful teams of the last 30 years have happened to be American. And they bring in forward-thinking people. They bring in people who are going to bring different perspectives. And that's what has won games. Sure, hockey still has a culture problem in the States.
Oh yeah.
Big time.
Oh yeah.
Big time. There is such a problem with how hockey handles itself. But I mean, the American teams have just done a less bad job of it. Like in hockey, you can't really be a good GM. You can just be a not bad GM. That's what it feels like. I mean, Tom Fitzgerald has, for the Devils, has done it. I think there are a handful of genuinely good GMs in the NHL.
I mean,
Joe Sakic for Colorado. He's a good GM. Tom Fitzgerald, genuinely good GM.
Another thing is also, I think Montreal, only recently, with most of the recent, they hired Jeff Gordon. They had a whole thing. You had to speak French also, or to be considered for their jobs.
I mean, I kind of get that because it's sort of assimilating with the
French
culture over there. Also,
but also
a lot of people speak French in Quebec.
But also,
you know how big speaking French.
This also hurts them in finding head coaches because it's always the same three guys: Claude Julien and Alain Vigneault and Michel Therrien for the last several years. And only recently got Marty St. Louis as their new head coach. But it's usually those three guys that can only be the head coach of the Canadiens because they could speak French. But that's a whole other thing. We want to talk about something else now that's maybe not as funny to us. Because the Giants are not a funny topic.
Yeah, the whole topic of this episode, our big segment, the New York Football Giants. Now, to a lot of people on this campus are happy about this game. They're thrilled about it because they're Jet fans. And it's rare when you see Jet fans being thrilled like this. Every year, the Jets sort of gas themselves up. But that's besides the point. The New York Football Giants.
Football. They don't deserve the football part. They don't play football. That what they do.
It's a habit. Every single time I mention them, I in front of a microphone, it's a natural reflex to call them the New York Football Giants.
Yeah, but they don't deserve that football because they didn't play football on Sunday.
Well, they technically played football if you play it in the 1910s.
An embarrassment.
I have seen the New York Football Giants lose in a myriad
of ways.
of some rambunctious roughhousing has taken place during some New York Football Giant games.
This past Sunday,
over my lifetime, I've seen this team lose in some baffling ways. Sunday, that was a new one.
That was a new one.
That was a new one. That caught me by surprise. I thought it was over. I really thought it was over.
I really thought we were about to win.
After Kayvon Thibodeau got that third sack, I was like, yeah.
He should have won Defensive Player of the Week. He didn't.
Because his team bottled the game.
Yeah.
4th and 1. First of all, you should have gone for it. Graham Gano was playing hurt. Graham Gano, they botched the hold.
You would be in the same situation if you missed that field goal and if you didn't convert on the 4th down. basically.
Yeah, literally the same exact situation. But I understand the thought process. I would have understood the thought process. I'm like, okay, first down ends the game. You need 1 yard, dude. Tush push. Literally just tush push.
I also don't blame him in a way because he was on down to his third string quarterback, his practice squad quarterback.
Yeah, I know. I know. He
Too.
was
That's a whole other thing, and everything has like been decimated again on the offensive line and the QB. But also, it's 1 yard. It's 1
You're in the
yard.
National Football League. You should be able to gain 1 lousy yard.
Which ends the game.
Yeah, it would have ended the game right there. The Jets had no timeouts. They had no timeouts. They were dead to rights.
But and now
And I knew after Cano missed that, I turned the game off. I was sure. I'm like, I know what's about to happen.
Is that Zach Wilson quote real where he said 24 seconds, no problem?
No.
That's not
I hope it's not real.
Because that would be very bad on his part.
That'd be the last person who should be saying anything remotely boastful.
Like where was he the first 59 minutes and 36 seconds of that game? Where was all that then? Oh
and then the defense, which was amazing the entire game.
I mean, you get to play Zach Wilson.
The big blue wrecking crew the entire time, and then they just completely fold. The one time the entire game where it felt
scripted. It really felt scripted.
It felt scripted because I knew. No, I knew. I knew right then and there. It's like I know this team too well. I know a giant loss when I see one. And I have friends who tell me, "Oh, you should be more positive. Have a little more faith in your team." I have been watching this team for way too long to have faith in them. The only time this team has ever rewarded me for my faith, last time I was 7 years old. Call of Duty Black Ops 2 didn't even release yet. The last time this team rewarded me for my faith and for my belief in them and their process and their group. I'm defensive, dude. That's me. It's not me being a cynical, grumpy jerk. It's a trauma response. Me, whenever I say the Giants are going to lose, me turning off the TV the moment anything goes remotely wrong is a response to multiple traumatic events where this team has hurt me over and over and over and over again. The first Giant game I ever remember watching from start to finish was the Deshaun Jackson game. That I should have known right then and there was like, nope, don't watch football. This is not for you, but nope. Here's the thing. No, my family. No. My dad, his dad dragged him in, and my dad dragged me in. And my grandfather, his dad before him probably dragged him in. So we're all in this together. It's all right to start using Christmas vacation quotes, right? It's November 1st. Yeah, we're all in this together.
We haven't even gone. We just started November, and Thanksgiving hasn't even happened yet.
I used to be able to go. No, it's passable. It's passable. It's a good quote for this situation.
Unbelievable. And
here's the over and over and over and over and over again, this team just hurts me, and they find new ways to hurt me.
The thing that's amazing about what happened on Sunday is that they could have literally not shown up at all, and they would have had more passing yards.
Yeah, literally -9 passing yards. And I see Jet fans jumping around, thumping their chest. I'm
you almost lost to that.
You almost lost to that. I don't want to hear it from Jet fans. Okay? I don't want to hear it. Like I saw Joe Beningo in the parking lot of MetLife Stadium doing the salsa. Meanwhile, the Giants actually got something out of that game. The Giants won the Super Bowl after that play. And the Jets are the Jets. I have no faith in them doing anything for the rest of this year unless Aaron Rodgers comes back.
But they got to stay afloat still until then.
They got to stay afloat until Rodgers comes back. And
to their credit, they are doing that. They are doing it to their credit.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. They've been playing some solid ball.
They've been finding ways to win. This, however, is yes, in a way, they found a way to win. But boy, neither team deserved to win that game yesterday.
Neither team is there are moments they should institute a rule where both teams are just so disgusting where that they just give them 2 losses. It's like, okay, here.
You
Like,
embarrass
you
yourselves.
no team deserved to win during that game.
It's just amazing how bad football there was on both sides. It was just so neither team converted a third down until like late in the third quarter or something like that. It's nuts. They're like each like over 20 combined on third down until like the second half. Well, the punters were the big talk of the story, which is not a good sign.
Dude, Thomas Morstead had a heck of a game.
And Jamie Gillian,
The Scottish Hammer.
he had some
That's
bad
such
punch.
a shame, dude. Because I want to like Jamie Gillen so much.
But he's just
His nickname is
so good.
cool.
It's such a great
The
nickname.
Scottish Hammer, dude.
But
The Giants have had a litany of Scottish special teamers.
But now
over our lifetime.
Graham Gano.
Graham Gano Scottish. Lawrence Tynes is Scottish.
Jamie Gillian Scottish. But and now Daniel Jones might be coming back now after Tyrod Taylor got
by pure coincidence. By pure coincidence.
Apparently he was cleared on Sunday, apparently.
By pure coincidence, after Tyrod Taylor gets hurt, and all of a sudden they don't have anybody who can throw a forward pass.
Who they trust to throw a forward pass.
All of a sudden, Daniel Jones is cleared. I'm just saying. I'm putting on the tinfoil hat right now. Maybe, just maybe, Brian Daboll doesn't really want to put Daniel Nickel Knuckles out there.
I'm kind of surprised they were saying pat at the trade deadline then too. If they were,
I like the Leonard Williams trade.
I did like
the getting a second round pick for a guy you're not going to re-sign. That's good value.
Or well, maybe you keep him signed for cheaper.
I mean, him and Dexter Lawrence are best friends.
The best.
So
friends. I'm kind of surprised he didn't trade Adoree Jackson.
I'm shocked too.
But he has a high salary though too.
Yeah, he has. Yeah, there's cap issues.
But it's just I thought they would have sold more, and the fact they didn't trade Saquon either.
Well, that was all John Mara.
Probably, yeah.
John Mara has his hands all over. That's like John Mara claimed when Joe Schoen was hired that he gets run of the team. He carte blanche. He gets. I like to call it Cape Blanchett, but they get full Cape Blanchett of the entire team, and then
except for maybe Saquon.
And then John Mara forced the Jones extension. I totally believe that conspiracy theory that John Mara forced the Daniel Jones extension onto Joe Schoen and Brian Daboll. And then Saquon sticking around is at Mara's behest too. So in case you're wondering, John Mara still does have a massive say in football operations for the Giants. So not really much has changed. Except the guy who's somewhat in charge of the football operations is smarter than the last guy.
And now I don't see how
it's not as bad at drafting and player evaluation.
We might see another terrible loss next week.
No,
another terrible game.
I want this team to keep losing. You know me.
I mean, I'm in the sense, or what I should have said, another terrible game next week when they face the Raiders, who just fired Josh McDaniels.
Antonio Pierce might take over as.
They might win
as interim. Dude, no, it would be so.
Yeah, they fired their coach and GM, and they are still favored.
And their star receiver is
upset.
Infuriated. Although star receiver being upset. In other news, the Northeast is cold in November, so
it is cold today.
Yeah, it's cold. I like the cold.
I do like the cold.
I don't mind the cold, dude. I hate the hot.
Yeah,
dude, I'm in the cold. I just throw on my Carhartt jacket.
All good,
perfectly fine.
But the Raiders are the other team that's just as dysfunctional as the Giants right now on the field. And I think they might be worse.
The Raiders This is a huge tank ball. This is big. This is big for us.
The Giants have the 4th overall pick if the season were to end today. We got to up that.
Up into the 3rd overall pick. Then I want to have at least the 3rd overall pick.
Because then we could get
Marvin Harrison Jr. If we don't get Caleb Williams or Drake May, we would get Marvin Harrison.
I was about to say Percy Harvin.
Percy.
Oh my god!
He was pretty good. That was a guy. I wouldn't mind prime Percy Harvin on this team. I'd take that any day.
Anyways, Marvin Harrison Jr. I would be okay with that.
I'd be.
If the Giants were to get a top 3 pick, I'd be okay with that.
I'd be okay with Marvin Harrison Jr.
More than okay.
No, worry about the quarterback next year. Maybe run it back with Tyrod Taylor. Who knows? Maybe you just stick it out with Daniel Jones for another year. I don't know.
Just get a top 3 pick. That's all. Though I think the Raiders are going to be just as bad as the Giants, which might be a difficult task.
Dude, if it's anything I know that this team can do, it's lose.
What is the worst loss? Let's discuss some of the worst losses.
Yeah. What are some of the worst losses in Giant history? I mean, like from our lifetime. Like, let's just go back and forth, dude. We could spend the rest of the show talking.
I mean,
about
any
this.
loss to the Eagles is pretty bad.
Deshaun Jackson.
Obviously. Jake Elliott.
Any of the Boston Scott games.
Oh, Graham Gano kicking the 63-yard field goal against the Giants.
No. Oh, yeah, Graham Gano kicking the 63-yarder. Oh, of course, he shanked the 35-yarder for us.
Yeah. I think Dallas opening week
2015. That's a good one where all Eli needed to do was take the sack, but he threw the ball away and stopped the clock, and then Tony Romo who by the way, was automatic in a lot of those situations. Just not in the playoffs.
I mean, that still applies today to the Cowboys in general. Week 1 from this past year.
That was I can handle a blowout. The Giants can get blown out all the time. The Giants get blown out all the time by Dallas in week 1 on Sunday Night Football. You're not impressing me with that. Like, that's nothing impressive. Like that hurt. Like, by halftime, I was like, yeah, whatever. Yeah, this team's terrible. We got tricked. We're in for a long year. It's like, yeah, we knew that was going to happen. The Giants get blown out by Dallas opening night, Sunday Night Football, all the time.
Yep.
That's nothing out of the ordinary.
I'm trying to think of other losses. I'm going to have to defer to you.
The entirety of the 2015 season. After week 1 against Dallas, week 2 against the Falcons, we had a 10-point lead in the fourth quarter. Yeah. We bottled that.
Yep. Josh Brown missing the kick against the Jets.
Yeah. That Jet game where the Giants were up by 10 points, and then Tom Coughlin mismanaged the clock. Josh Brown missed the kick in overtime, and then the Jets ended up winning.
Oh my god, we lost a lot of heartbreaking games in 2015. But was that the Patriots game the same one too?
Yeah. Patriots game was that same year where Landon Collins dropped the pick and Tom Brady marched down the field, and Steven Gostkowski kicked a 56-yard that barely snuck inside the post. And I think the week before that. Or no, a couple weeks before that, it was the Saints game.
With the shootout game?
Yeah, the shootout game. Eli threw 6 touchdowns. Problem was Drew Brees threw 7. And then a bad punt return stopped me. If you've heard this before, the Giants lost a game on special teams where a punt return followed by a face mask by the punter.
Who was our punter?
Brad Wing.
Oh, okay. That makes sense. That's right.
And then they kicked the game-winning field goal that was over 50 yards to lose that. Game against Washington. We lost that one.
Which game?
The game against Washington, 2015. Giants went down by 20. They kind of clawed back, and then they sort of fell short. The game against the Panthers, the Josh Norman game. Giants were down 35-7, came back. That wasn't bad. That wasn't the worst.
The Panthers were undefeated. Still.
Yeah, the Panthers were undefeated going into that game. I remember I was so hyped for that game.
I just found money, honestly, how they played in that game. Trying to think of more bad losses.
All right, let's go from the 2013 season. That
In our
was a pretty
lifetime, at
bad one.
least.
The 2013 season, that was a pretty bad year.
They almost made the playoffs, though. Oh, wait, no, 2013. No, never mind. I was thinking 2012.
2013, that was a pretty bad one.
Didn't, like, Hakeem Nicks,
Opening night against Dallas.
Hakeem Nicks couldn't catch a ball to save his life.
Hakeem Nicks had over 800 receiving yards that year.
Was it? I don't. He kept dropping. What was the year where he just kept dropping everything?
Yeah, that was the year where Hakeem Nicks developed fumbleitis or like drops, like just
he couldn't catch Ebola.
Yeah, you couldn't catch
during that time.
Yeah, during 2013, we're like, oof.
Oh, you know what game was also bad? Just all around, the Geno Smith game.
Oh my god,
against the Raiders.
Oh, dude, thank God I did not have a platform during that week.
Yeah, everything about that game was bad.
The only
vibes.
time my dad was texting me during that game. He said it was the only time he ever genuinely rooted against the Giants. Like, whenever I talk about tanking, I never root against the Giants, like, in the moment. Like, I get the dopamine hit when they score. My dad said that was the first time in his life where he was, like, cheering and high-fiving whenever the Giants, like, lost.
Yeah, they deserved the lose.
Yeah, that benching. Oh, you want to get me going on something. That benching. Yeah, again, that's why I said thank God I didn't have a platform by then.
But I have a platform.
And
now.
I didn't figure out how to use YouTube because oh my God. I would have, like, my podcast back home, I would have texted Ming Chen. I would have been like, dude, I don't care what you're doing. I don't care where you are. Like, if you are in New Jersey, if you're home right now, you are going into the studio and I am sounding off. I am screaming my head off for an hour about that benching. I was furious when Eli got benched. Even talking about it now. Classless, gutless, spineless, just a terrible, terrible thing to do to a great human being and a great quarterback who did nothing but win for you. And you wonder why I get a little defensive and apprehensive when I'm asked about putting my faith in these guys. Because over and over again, they hurt me. 2016, week 3 against Washington. They were up like 21-3. They ended up blowing it. Eli threw a pick at the end, and it was terrible.
You know, I mean, the big loss that's not from our lifetimes is the Miracle in the Meadowlands.
Yeah, Miracle at the Meadowlands.
That's probably the worst one.
Our parents could talk about that. Oh my God.
All they had to do was kneel the ball.
I don't think the kneel down was a thing back then.
Oh, and by was afterwards.
Joe Pisarcik needed to just hand the ball off to Larry Csonka.
And he couldn't even do that.
Yeah, we fumbled the handoff and Edwards.
To Herm Edwards, who plays to win, as you may know.
Yeah, you play to win the game.
That's a great thing about sports. You play to win. You play to win, sure, but are you good enough to win? If you're in the Giants' case,
absolutely not.
I just don't see. Before Josh McDaniels was fired, I just did not see how the Giants were going to lose that game to the Raiders. I just don't. I thought they were. I thought they could have won because the Raiders are also like pretty bad.
Yeah, there is a way the Giants win, but like again, I have faith in this team losing.
Yeah,
like I believe that they can lose, but they can really stink it up when they need to. Even when they need to, and I don't know if when they need to, they usually pull out a couple useless wins, like the win against Washington. Like really,
that's what I'm saying. Like how is Washington was conceivably better than us? How did they lose to us? How did they get
I'm talking about
wins?
useless wins. It's like really, like did we really like go when we go to the draft and we have like the 5th overall pick and we're just out of the reach of the Williams, May, Harrison area, we're going to be like, was that win against Washington really worth it? And if we beat the Raiders or the Eagles or the Cowboys, like, was that win
really worth it?
Like, was that win worth it? Like, did we really want to win those games?
I mean, maybe one game against the Eagles, I could probably swallow that.
No, but here's the thing. Like, of course, us winning against the Eagles would completely take us out of a premium draft pick.
As of right
now,
now,
that is the only way the Giants would beat the Eagles is if it was to our detriment.
Yep.
As that said, that's how it's gone in my life with the Giants when it comes to playing the Eagles. Like they have not swept the Eagles in a season series since
They have not-
2007.
They haven't won a game in Philadelphia since 2013.
God,
They have
10
not won a
years.
game in Philadelphia.
And it's going to be that way. I'm thinking it's going to go 20 years. I genuinely think that it
the
might not even happen.
The Broncos beat the Chiefs for the first time in 16 matchups.
Well, I mean, here's the thing.
Anything's possible.
The Broncos compared to the Giants are a relatively competent organization.
That's a strong.
No.
No.
You've been a Giant fan for too long to fight that statement.
They haven't had a decent year of a quarterback. You can argue.
I'm talking about overall.
The Broncos have not done anything.
You're telling me that Daniel Jones is better than Russell Wilson?
Who would you rather have had last year? Who would you rather have had last year?
Okay, you're talking about last year.
I'm talking about the Broncos specifically.
Yeah, wait, yeah, dude. Yeah, I'm talking about this year. And overall, like, big picture. Like, 1 year. Dude, the Giants have had 1 year aberrations all, like, a bunch of times. 2016, 1 year aberration. They went 11-5. Last year, they made the playoffs and won a playoff game. Total aberration because they lucked out in a bunch of one-score games dancing through the raindrops. So, you tell me.
The Broncos are like just in a free fall. Like ever since they hired Hackett and got Wilson, that dysfunction.
But they're compared to the Giants,
I guess in a way. But like they haven't.
Walmart isn't as hands-on with football operations as John Mara is. Walmart just lets the football people do.
They haven't even made the playoffs, the Broncos, since Peyton Manning, the corpse of Peyton Manning, left their team.
Yeah, I know.
We have with Daniel Jones, who may objectively be a worse quarterback than Russell Wilson in a lot of ways.
Dude, he is. Russell Wilson has been fine this year. I don't know if you've been paying attention. The Broncos' defense is what's killing them.
Yeah, they're actually scoring points for once, where they weren't last year.
No, but like the Giants are a mess.
They are a mess.
They're an absolute mess. It's something that I've repeated for years and years and years and years. And you know, it's not going to change.
I will say the Broncos, we don't have let's ride like the Broncos do.
Yeah, Daniel Jones like never talks. So you're never going to get. And he's not as corny as Russell is. Like Daniel Jones just shuts his mouth and plays terrible football.
He is Eli.
Russell Wilson. Eli won 2 Super Bowls.
I know he's Eli in the sense like he doesn't give anything to the media.
Like he doesn't care.
Yeah. But anyways,
although Eli Manning now is like the funniest human being ever.
He's always been funny.
Even like during his career, you'd hear him say stuff. You're like, huh? You hear stories about him like he knows how to change anyone's iPhone to Chinese. Like in 10 seconds, like if I gave Eli Manning my phone in 10 seconds, he could give it back to me and it would be in Mandarin.
You would never know what to do.
And I wouldn't know how to change it back.
It's very Eli-esque in that sense.
Like he'll be an idiot one minute, and meanwhile, secretly, he'll beat Tom Brady in the Super Bowl twice.
Has WFAN been on anything yet? I haven't listened to them. The official partner station of the New York Giants, and they have 0 Giants fans running their radio talk shows.
Sean Marash.
Out of how many other hosts do they have that are Giants fans? It's a pretty short list.
Tiki Barber, technically.
I don't even associate him with us.
Dog. Oh, I hate Tiki Barber. Like I respect him, like as a player. Like if I ever met him, I'd be like, oh my god, Tiki Barber, dude, you're such a great running back. But like I don't know. I just don't like listening to him as a radio host.
And now Kayvon Thibodeau had a great game, and I don't.
And then they backpedaled.
Did they actually backpedal?
No. Well, Brandon Tierney and Salakah said, "Oh, I didn't need to watch the All-22 to notice the impact he made." It's like, oh my god, dude, just take your L. Take your L on that take. Kayvon Thibodeau's tied for 3rd in the NFL in sacks. He has the same amount of sacks as Myles Garrett and Aiden Hutchinson. No, I think Aiden Hutchinson might have more sacks. Hold on. I think he has more sacks than Aiden Hutchinson.
Kayvon has like 8.5 sacks.
Yeah, it's 8.5 sacks. No, he's on pace for like 18. I think they said, which is
great
amazing.
difference he's made in the last couple of weeks.
Man, I can't wait for the bye week.
I don't have to watch football.
I'll just watch Red Zone. I won't have to worry about my football team ruining my mood.
And but you know, if Sal were to say, the sky was blue, I will legit go outside right now, look up in the sky to make sure it was still blue, and confirm for myself. I do not. Anything that Sal kind of says, you should have an excessive amount of uncertainty.
Oh yeah. He
or merely doubt.
Sal Licata claims he's a Giants fan.
He's not a Giants fan.
All that station does is talk about the Jets.
I don't even think he's a New York. I think he's a Falcons fan. I heard.
What?
I don't know. I heard it somewhere.
A guy named Sal Licata from New York is a Falcons fan.
I don't know. I don't. You know, I couldn't. I don't listen to WFAN enough to know that for sure. Honestly, but
over the summer, whenever I was in the car, whenever I drive like to work and all that,
he is a Jets fan. I don't know. I heard it somewhere.
I like their weekend people. Like the people that they have on the overnet, like Keith McPherson. I love Keith McPherson, even though he's a Cowboys fan. Like I could listen to other. He's a Devils fan. Like technically, like he claims he's a Devils fan, but he's a casual. But
you know who I mean, I always love Boomer Esiason.
Yeah, Boomer Esiason and Greg Giannotti. Those guys are great.
Boomer's like the only one who will actually like talk about hockey on the fan.
Oh yeah.
So I always like him.
God, I loved listening to that after the Devils Rangers series this year.
I didn't listen to any of it.
I listened to it.
Cool. I don't care.
I listened to them cry for an entire hour. Dude, it was great.
But now the Rangers are good. They went 5-0 on their most recent road trip in the West Coast. They've never done that before. They never swept the road trip 5-0.
Really?
Nope. First time they did it. Now they come.
I'm gonna say straight up, the Rangers are a better team than the Devils.
Well, they got their big test tomorrow night.
I can admit that the Rangers are a way better team than the Devils this year. If the Devils and Rangers meet in the playoffs, the Rangers are winning that series.
Well, we gotta see how they play against each other first.
Like, at least this year, the Rangers' system is stronger. They're better defensively.
They got a coach.
Yeah, they have a coach. The Devils allegedly have a coach, but like, but now the Devils is that they're 5-2-1. Which is a good thing, especially when you consider that they haven't been playing the way that they should be playing. They're defensively sloppy. They're power play merchants, which yeah, you.
I mean, the Rangers kind of got a big power play goal in the last game.
No, but the Devils like rely on their power play for offense, and which can be a good thing and a bad thing. It can be a good thing as in
it's a good weapon to have.
It's an amazing weapon to have. Like Luke Hughes is already one of the best power play quarterbacks in the league. Like he's quietly having a great rookie season. And of course you got his brother Jack who's gone ultra instinct to begin the season. You got Jesper Bratt who's popping off at the same time, who's been separated from Jack Hughes for a majority of the games. You got Tyler Toffoli, who's been literally the perfect line mate that we've been begging for Jack Hughes to have for the last few years. And not to mention the supporting cast, Eric Halla, Andre Palat. Palat hasn't really shown up yet.
He'll show up.
No, like Mercer.
He'll show up when the Rangers are playing.
Palat hasn't shown up yet. Mercer hasn't shown up yet. Timo Meyer's been really good. Like, at least in the point total, he hasn't really done a lot in terms of goal scoring, but lately he's looked
paying him $8 million for.
Like 8.8, I think. But he's still really good. Like Timo Meyer's still a great player. Like I know you're trying to make the argument that it's a bad contract right now, but
I know. Well, I think he'll pick it up. But it's just power forwards. They don't last typically that long in their prime.
Timo Meyer.
How old is Timo Meyer? I don't know.
I think he's like 26.
That can't be right. I cannot be right. There's no way he's 26.
Okay, 27.
I thought he was 28, actually.
I mean, his number is 28.
I got confused. That's what
Some
confused
guys
me.
on the Devils, Jack Hughes is 22, Nico Heischer's 24, Jesper Bratt is 25.
But
Dawson Mercer's 22, Tyler Toffoli's 31. So I don't know. I just
you know who's having a great season? Artemi Panarin.
I gotta look up his numbers.
He has had a point in every single game this year for the Rangers.
What?
9-game point streak. They opened the season.
15 points.
Yep, a point in every single game so far. He's on
9-game point streak.
The game
I'm not crazy about his new bald haircut though.
It's working. He's going for the Messier look. It's working.
No, he's not Mark Messier.
He's not.
He is not Mark Messier. That never besmirch Mark Messier's name again. Because you know what Mark Messier did?
You want a Stanley Cup?
Yeah, he showed up in the playoffs. That's what he did. Artemi Panarin hasn't done that yet.
He is going to.
Artemi Panarin didn't score a single goal against your little brothers last year. So
he will show up if the Rangers make the playoffs this year.
The Rangers are going to make the playoffs this year, and they're at least making the Eastern Conference final. Like I'm sure
Panarin will show up. He is here. He's been so good. He's played so well with Philip Hedl and Alexei Lafreniere. Man, it's almost like the Ranger fans knew that would happen. Everyone knew except for Gerard Gallant. Who would have thought? But the Rangers.
I'm looking at the Rangers stats right now.
The top line, Kreider, Zibanejad, and Kakko hasn't been like.
Lafreniere has 4 goals, no assists in 9 games.
Philip Hedl has 6 assists.
Zibanejad's a point per game. Fox is over a point a game.
Zibanejad.
Chris Kreider is just a smidge under a point a game.
They've been on it's been special teams a lot too for them, some of their points.
Kakko only has 2 points in 9 games. So
part of it is that Zibanejad and Kreider have been on the power play, having power play matches themselves, and also Kreider's gotten a shorthanded goal.
Kreider has 6 goals in 9 games.
Yeah, he can still score. But they're playing so much better. But they got their big test tomorrow night when they face Carolina at home. That'll be the first big test.
Carolina at home is not really that tall of a task for a lot of good teams.
Oh,
Carolina on the road, that's bad.
Well, Carolina's the first really good team besides the Canucks that they're going to be facing. The Canucks are doing good this year, man.
It's the end of October.
They're on a good start. Partially because a lot of other teams are the bad.
The Bruins are 8-0-1. It's seriously, the Red Wings and the Habs are going to keep this up.
I think the Red Wings could probably keep it up.
The Red Wings look a little more sustainable, but the Habs, really? Over the Bolts, Leafs, and Panthers. Give me a break.
The Bolts, it's kind of amazing.
The Bolts, Leafs, Panthers, Sabres. Those are all better teams than the Habs.
And the Bolts don't even have Vasilevsky right now.
Oh, would you look at that? The Pittsburgh Penguins are last in the Metro.
Oh, I love to see that. They lost. Did you see how they lost?
How did they lose?
And one of the Ducks. They
lost to the Ducks
in regulation. With 30 seconds left, they lost on a shorthanded goal on a 5-on-3 on a breakaway goal from McTavish.
Let me guess. Erik Karlsson was playing defense on that one.
I don't know for sure. Look up the unfortunate incidents account on Twitter.
No, I'm just gonna look up the Anaheim Ducks on Twitter. I need to see this video.
Yeah, they lost on a shorthanded goal within the final minute.
On a 5-on-3. Not verified on Twitter.
Well, no one's verified on Twitter. Oh wait, well they would be verified because they're a business by definition. So weird with Elon and Twitter. That's a whole other thing. But I just
wait. I gotta see this.
Yeah,
okay. Who was Malkin? Oh wait. I gotta see if that was. Oh my god, My phone just completely spazzed out. Okay.
I
gotta have a look.
you gotta
Okay, it's
look. You
taking
gotta
forever to load.
the pit.
Malkin shot picked up by Carlson at the top of the left circle. Errant pass picked off,
By
and then
a
pass
breakaway.
ahead to McTavish, and then he scored.
Oh, so it was Carlson.
It was a terrible pass by Erik Karlsson.
I love hearing that. It warms my heart to see the Pittsburgh Penguins 8th in the Metropolitan Division. It really warms my heart.
No, but
my heart is growing 3 sizes.
You know, if they are remotely close to winning the draft lottery, they're going to get it.
That is also true. Do they even have a first round pick? Do they even have the first round pick?
Hold up.
What did they surely traded? Did they? I hope they traded the pick to San Jose.
Erik Karlsson trade.
This is key information that we need.
Oh, they sent their 2024 first round pick. Don't know if it's
protected. The Sharks
don't know if it's lottery protected, but
the Sharks might have 2 lottery picks.
You know the NHL is not going to give them the first pick. There's going to be some other team that Bettman's going to want to prop up. No, Arizona.
Gary Bettman is a topic we can have a discussion on for another episode.
At some point, we're going to talk about Gary Bettman.
And you will know how I feel about Mr. Gary Bettman.
Oh, no. As a Devils fan, I hate Gary Bettman. No, because, he tried moving the Devils to Nashville before the 94-95 season, and then the Devils won the Stanley Cup, and then he had to keep them there. And then they won 2 more Stanley Cups, and they've basically been bolted to New Jersey for the rest of their existence.
There is not enough time in a day for me to talk about how bad Gary Bettman is.
We don't have enough time left on this show.
There's not enough time in a day. But anyways, back to hockey. Again, the Pittsburgh Penguins being terrible. I just love seeing that. That franchise, I hate them so much. That's the one common ground Rangers fans and Islanders fans have. We hate the Penguins.
Rangers fans, Islanders fans, and Flyers fans.
Yes, we hate the Pens. Do you have any idea how bad, how much hatred you have to endorse to be able to do that? To unite those people.
That's a lot.
That's a lot of hatred.
That's bad.
And insufferability. Man, I just love. I hope it continues. And the Caps are doing bad too. It's just great. It's just great to see that these teams are falling. Finally.
And now the top of the Metro looking.
How are the Bruins still good? How are the Bruins still good though?
I got nothing.
People were saying the Bruins were going to be terrible this year. They're going to be terrible. They still have a lot of their core pieces like Linus Ullmark and Jeremy Swayman, who are a great tandem. They're going to be decently okay. They still have Patrice Bergeron. No, wait, no, they don't have Patrice Bergeron. I meant to say Brad Marchand and David Pastrnak. They still have those guys.
Oh, wow. Dude, Vancouver is playing great.
Yeah, Vancouver is doing well. I know, because I had Dasher Demko on my fantasy team.
Again, dude, it's October hockey.
Bro, did you see how the Canucks started off last year? They haven't won a game. They blew like so many multi-goal leads like in October. I would know. I had Venture Demko on my team then too.
The Metro, like right now, it's going expected, although not the order everyone was anticipating. It's Rangers number 1, Carolina number 2, Devils number 3.
That's what I'm saying. Carolina is going to be a big test for them because they're playing a really good a team that was considered to be a good team going into the season. They're always a big matchup.
Like the Devils 5-2 somehow like it if you watch the team, it feels like they've been off to a disappointing start. Like it's just because they haven't been clicking on all. So like sure, like their offense has been amazing, but they haven't been really clicking like systemically.
What about the goaltending? I'm saying as
Schmidt has been very disappointing so far. I think he's gonna
just give him a start against the Rangers. He'll find his way.
Vanacek has been really good lately. Like he's been bailing us out on a couple of occasions. The Devils haven't been starting games that well either. They've been starting off on the wrong foot. Their last game against Minnesota on Sunday was the first time they scored
The first.
to open a game. It took 8 games for them to score.
That's not
the
a good
first goal of the
trend.
game.
That is not a good trend.
Oh yeah, I'm saying it's concerning, and a lot of Devils fans are giving me a lot of hate for it.
I mean,
Like,
it's good that
"Man,
they're it's good that
just
they're,
have faith in your team. You're so negative." I'm like, I'm not being negative. I'm just pointing out a
but when
valid
you
concern.
when you open up, if you continue to open up this way against games with teams that are actually like legit good and probably have better defensive structure, it's gonna be harder to score.
It's gonna be harder to win.
It's gonna be harder. You
That,
can't
like,
keep putting yourself in
The
holes.
the Devils this year, it's like, I have faith in them to do well. I think they're gonna win games. I think they're gonna do enough to make the playoffs. They should do enough to make the playoffs.
Barring some catastrophic something happens.
Although, again, this is one of my teams we're talking about. So there is a lot of ways that the Devils could fumble this and they could miss the playoffs, which is probably what's going to happen after I said this. But at the very least, I don't see them winning the Stanley Cup. It's coming soon. At some point, I think this team is there are too many issues. Last year's team was so much better. They had structure. That they could just be taking some time to to find their legs, get their footing. But you know what? Again, this is a Cameron Woolley sports team. They don't function normally. The little voices in the back of my head saying, "Hey, it might not be good. It might be very bad." Those voices are usually right. So I might just start listening to those voices going into the season.
I mean,
when the Yankees signed Carlos Rodon, it's like, there's a chance that he completely falls apart and gets hurt because this is the Yankees. And then sure enough, it happened.
I mean, I feel like I'm a bit cynical about my sports teams, but often I always choose like, hey, there's something cool about they did something. There was some fun stuff.
You're not a cynic until it gets really bad.
Yeah.
Like once you when the Rangers lost, like after game 5, like we ate lunch the next day, you were like, don't even bring it up. And I'm like, okay. You're like, I'm about to flip this table. And I'm like,
I
yep.
think I probably would have. And it's okay. I gotta bury
after game 7.
My weekly
really
burial
funny,
of Gerard Gallant. Again, because you bring up the playoff series, I have to keep burying it home that Gerard Gallant's a terrible head coach. He is not a good head coach. There is no structure with him. Any team that hires him is going to be very disappointed with the results that he brings. He brings nothing to it. I can name more implementations that David Quinn has made to the benefit of the Rangers than Gerard Gallant has. Do you have any idea what kind of
a statement that is? Yeah, I know.
I can name more positive findings and implementations that David Quinn has made than Gerard Gallant, because a lot of the things that Gallant found were from David Quinn findings. But now, boy, that's not my problem anymore. Peter Laviolette's our head coach. All is good for now.
Yep.
We just gotta win. We just gotta win the cup this year. Though that's being said, there are 32 other teams that have aspirations to maybe even win the cup. Even the Sharks, who haven't won a game yet, the team wants to win. The playoffs are a long way away.
Yep. We'll be here for that, and we'll be here next week as well. So, anyways, I'll wrap it up for us there. I don't really have much.
Oh, yeah, the World Series, real quickly.
I don't want to talk about the World Series. I don't care about playoff baseball. I don't care about that. I haven't watched.
Travis Jankowski, suitable replacement for Adolis Garcia, it turns out. The guy from last year when the Mets said he doesn't think anyone's going to buy his jersey, and now he's played a pivotal role in getting the Rangers to win last night.
I don't know. What is it, 3-1 Rangers?
I think it might be, yeah. Yeah, it is 3-1. The Rangers might win their first World. When I was saying I want the Rangers to win a championship, I should have been more specific about which Rangers team I was talking about. Unless it's a double meaning, unless it meant double, a plural. But anyways, and Jacob deGrom might win a World Series ring, which I'm happy about. But then Max Scherzer might win, and I'm not so happy. But Travis Jankowski might win, and I'm kind of happy again. Very conflicting. I don't know. Aroldis Chapman might win another World Series ring. How do you feel about that?
I'm disappointed.
Is that all?
Yeah. I don't have any comments on this series. I don't care about it.
I can
like sure, I'm so apathetic. I'm so fine with whatever team that wins it. It sort of takes some of the juice out of it. When you have two likable teams going at it, there's not a lot of interest there. Like if the Astros ran it, people would be like, "Yeah, go team that's playing the Astros." Or if the Dodgers ran it, it's like, "Yeah, go team that's playing Dodgers." If the Yankees ran it, "Oh, go team that's playing the Yankees." It's like, although I wouldn't be like that. If the Mets ran it, people would be going in wanting a Lowell Mets moment. So,
I mean, the Lowell Mets moment happened 8 years ago in the World Series.
Oh yeah, the Matt Harvey.
One of the finest pitching performances in World Series history, which it should have been remembered that way, but he had to come out for the 9th inning. He had to come back onto the mound in the 9th inning, and that's all.
Like Matthew McConaughey in Interstellar, just banging on the bookshelf.
Yep. Every time
Stop! No!
or Walter White in the van, in the car.
No, Hank.
Anyways,
Jack.
Yeah, that's me. Like constantly.
It's off.
Anyways, I think that's a good place to wrap up today.
Yeah, it's a good place to wrap up today. Anyways, thank you for
another good show.
Thank you for tuning in. Anybody in La Penta who happens to be hearing this over the speakers, thank you very much for tuning in. It's always fun every week.
Big preach, everyone.
As always, alongside Luke Dolan, I have been Cameron Woolley. This has been Ball Knowers. I wish all of you a very happy weekend. I hope you had a great holiday weekend and a great holiday yesterday. Saw some people dressed up in some very nice costumes, myself included. So
let's see how the Giants lose next week.
Let's see how the Giants lose next week. Or worse yet, they could win and screw up their draft pick. So anyways, that'll be all for us. Take care.